So, I haven't been able to upload anything in a few days because he started his shift. He's been training during the week to go to the weekend, which is just 3 days a week, but while I work 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and he works Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Starting this week, starting yesterday, and so I ain't been able to because I have to call him, or I'm cheating on him. I have to call him, or I'm mad at him. I have to call him, or it causes problems. So any amount of free time I have to spend it with him, which is understandable. And I know it's not always asking for much, but we all need a little bit of space every now and then. And the only free time that I have is driving to work and my lunchtime, and then driving home. But anyway, so he started his weekend shift yesterday, and I don't know quite how to feel about it at this point. I knew what he was getting into when he agreed to take it. Honestly, I was just glad that he had a job, because he's not been stable as far as jobs go. We actually met at a job. That's how we ended up together, was we were working together. And we worked there together for almost a year. So, to me, I thought he was stable and competent, and didn't think that, because we worked together for 4 or 5 months before we ever even, so I thought, anyway, I couldn't even tell you how many jobs he's had since we've been together. I've had three. One, I worked there for over 3 years until it literally drained me to the point. We were working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And I did that for over a year, and I just couldn't. I couldn't. Between him and my mental health, and just being mentally and physically and emotionally and just all the way around just completely and utterly drained. And then my boss was a creep and didn't care, and so I had to let it go. I worked very hard to get where I was at that job, but I had to walk away. Sorry, I'm at home and my dogs are being annoying. Then I went through a few jobs, and now I'm at the place I'm at, and I've been here for almost a year. But I couldn't even count on all my hands and toes the amount of jobs he's had since we've been together. And at first it was okay, Then it got to the point to where it was just come on, And now, I kind of was hurt when he decided to take the weekend job. Because, I don't know, is it weird to be hurt? Because at this point in time, I don't even know how I feel anymore. Like, I feel like I've disassociated from everything, and I don't like it's so weird to feel numb, but then not to, like, to not care, and but then at the same time to have those little feelings come creeping in, and then you're just angry and hurt, and then, you know what I mean? Like, does it make, I don't know anymore. It's so hard to not, I don't know. That's the thing, I really don't know. I really don't know anymore. I don't know how I feel. I just am like numb, and I feel non-existent, and the only time I ever feel like I'm alive is when I'm not here. I go to work, and as long as work's going well, which work drives me insane, but as long as work's going well, I go, and I feel like I have people that I can talk to, and I have friends, and then I come here, and I just instantly, like, just instantly just feel not at peace. Does that make sense? I don't know. Like, I don't know. But it's so weird to, like, tell yourself that you love somebody, and that's why you continue to do the things that you do, and you continue to stay. But then, like, at the same time, I don't know if I do. Like, I know that I love him. I know that I love him. I have to, right? I have to love him. How could I not after everything? How can you be with somebody after everything they've done to you? Right? How can you, I don't know. What, trauma bonded? Is that what it is? I don't even know. Scared? I don't know. Anyway, so the weekend shift. I go back to what I was venting about and talking about, but it's gonna be nice to have time to myself, like long periods of time to myself. But at the same time, I'm worried, because long periods of time make me do things like go down Facebook rabbit holes of what he's been up to and what he's been doing. And I did that today, which I know that's not something that you're supposed to do. You shouldn't. If you have to go to their Facebook, then you obviously don't trust them. And I'm going to be honest, I don't trust him, and I haven't in years. It's been about 3 years since the last time I actually trusted him. I did. I trusted him wholeheartedly for the first 2 years of our relationship. Trusted him. I mean, I really and truly believed everything he ever told me for the longest, and would have bet money that this motherfucker hung the moon, because I loved him so much. Even though the shit that he was doing to me was wrong, I loved him. I did, or I thought I did. I mean, you can't be hurt so bad by somebody you don't love, right? And I loved him so much. But so already this morning, I've went down like a 2 hour, well, not a 2 hour, well, probably about 2 hour, 2 hour Facebook rabbit hole of all the like videos and stuff that he watches, because the stuff don't pop up in your For You page if you don't watch the similar stuff, right? And then what I go through is watch history and see all the pretty skinny little big boobed girls he watches, and all the shit that he watches, and all the little workout videos and all that shit, and I don't know why I let it bother me. I think it's the lies. The lies. Oh, don't do that. I don't do that. You're fucking crazy. I don't do that shit. And then it's got a date and shit, you know? And it's just like... I mean, I've probably at this point, within the last week, got about 20 screenshots of where he's been watching videos in the last 2 weeks. But I'm the delusional crazy one, and I'm the one that's cheating on him, and I'm the one that's horrible, and you know, this is the thing. I'm not, I wasn't in previous relationships, like, big on watching porn, but I didn't really care either. Don't hide it. Be honest with me. I don't like to be lied to, because you're gonna get caught, and then you've made me feel crazy. You've not only made me feel like I'm not good enough. Well, you did make me feel like I'm not good enough, but the fact that you have to watch other women to get off makes me feel like I'm not good enough, because I'm not socially attractive. I'm not your social norm. I'm not, I don't have a skinny waist and big hips, and I'm on the thicker side most definitely, and I am a fat girl, and I'm not, you know, I weigh 250 pounds, but I'm not like, I don't have big nice titties, and I'm not, I hate my body. I hate it so much, you know, and not only do I hate it, but he's in his rages. He's said some of the most cruelest things to me about my body, because he knows it hurts me. You know, and then like when we have intercourse and things aren't working, and I get in my head because of the things that he's said to me and the things that I've caught him watching, and then he gets mad because things aren't working, and then he can tell that I'm upset, or that, you know, and not always am I upset, but whenever he starts talking to me the way he does, then I get upset, and then I feel like it's my fault, and I start blaming myself, and then it spirals out of control, and then he talks to me like a fucking dog, and then, you know, and then all I can think about is the things that he says to me, you know, and so when we first got together, it was agreed upon. I had told him that I watched porn in my previous relationship, that we were not the most, he worked on a completely different shift. We didn't spend a lot of time together, so we took care of ourselves a lot. So yes, I told him that I watched porn, and he said that he made it very clear that I was the only person he needed, that I was the only person he ever wanted, that now that he had me, he never needed anything from anyone, and that he never wanted either one of us to watch porn ever again, and that he agreed that if I never watched porn, he would never watch porn. That was the deal. And I loved it. I loved it. I ate that shit up. I ate that shit up like a fat kid on a birthday, because I've never had that, you know. My ex was always fucking with my friends, was always, you know, he watched porn and stuff. I never had somebody say something like that to me, that you were the only thing that I ever needed. I would never need anything else, because now you were in my life. And I'd never had somebody say something like that to me. So when we made that agreement, I meant it. I meant it more than anything in the world, because absolutely, I mean, like I said, I would have bet money that this motherfucker hung the moon. You know, I did. I really did. It hurts so bad. But, so, and it's within like the first couple months of our relationship. And, things were great. I'd never felt so loved in my life. And I come from a broken home. And my real father was never in my life. And when he was, it didn't turn out very well. So it was a huge pain that I'd always had to deal with. My mother struggled very severely with mental illness. Thanks, Mom. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. So I was young. I watched her multiple times try to kill herself. That's traumatizing as a small child. And then my stepdad at the time was very cruel. And, would say things that my stepdad and his family were mean to me. I was always a fat kid, They were always talking about how fat I was, and nobody would ever love me if I didn't lose weight. And not my stepdad necessarily. He told me that when I got a little bit older, he told me that I would find somebody who would love me as I was, because there were men out there that liked fat girls. He wasn't that bad. He had fits of rage. He come from a broken home. And I think in some ways I feel sorry for him, because I don't think he knows how to love people. But he had his moments where I would have thought that he hung the moon too. But I was molested, abused, beat. Constantly reminded that I didn't belong because I had a different father. And I looked different because I'm not Mexican. But when I was a kid, I'm part Native American. And I was very, now that I've gotten older, I don't go outside. But when I was younger, I most definitely looked like I was a Mexican. And people were always mean to me because I lived in a little bitty racist town. And not only that, I mean, even my family treated me like I didn't belong. And just come from a lonely place. And then I met my high school sweetheart that I ended up marrying and leaving. But all he ever did was fuck around on me. But I stayed with him because he was my best friend. We didn't have a relationship, like a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife relationship, but he was my best friend. That was the only thing that we had, was that he was my best friend. We might as well have been open. We might as well have had an open relationship and best friends with benefits. But I didn't, he talked to all kinds of girls. I had people messaging me all the time about his inappropriate messages. But, that lasted since I was 14 till I was 26, 27. And now I've been with this guy. But anyway, I really went off the topic. But so he agreed about the porn thing, and that was special to me. It this man, this human being come into my life out of nowhere, and he just felt like he was everything that I'd been looking for. He just felt like, I mean, you ever love at first sight? You just ever just fucking, you just know, like this is my other half. I mean, my whole fucking, we hugged one day at work, and I hugged a simple little, like, friendly hug, because that was going to be his last day on day shift, and he had give like 2 other people hugs, and I was like, I'm jealous, I'm gonna hug it, because I genuinely wanted a hug, because I loved him, and we had never had inappropriate conversations. I wasn't even his friend on Facebook. I had avoided like ever going down that road with him, because I avoided him. I was scared, Stop. But we hugged him. Then I cried for like 8 hours, because I just longed so much for that, like my soul longed for him, because I never felt that. And then 2 days later, we met up at the park, and we talked, and we just sat there, and we sat there and talked, and just talked about things. And then the next day we went to another park, and we did a little hike, and we were a little bit more friendly that day. But at the end of the night, when we were leaving, he held me and told me that, and it was crazy. He told me that he's like, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I love you. And to me, because like I said before, I mean, we hadn't even up until the hug, the initial just platonic friend hug. I knew then that I loved him, but I wouldn't. Like I said, I stayed very clear of that road. I steered very clear, and for him to tell me that he loved me on our second date, to me, was special, because I thought he feels it too. Ron, he feels it too. It's not just me. I'm not, he loves me, and I love him, and I'm not crazy. I'm not, because I'm not crazy, right? I'm not crazy. This isn't just some fucking, our souls, right? Our souls. He just held me for the longest, and I think we sit there for like 45 minutes with him just holding me, and he just told me that he loved me, and just told me that he just loved me. And he's like, I know it's crazy, he said, but I love you. And it's like, I know we don't know each other, and I know, he said, but my soul, he literally said everything that I was feeling. Everything. And I hadn't said nothing. Like, I hadn't said anything. Any of this stuff. I hadn't said it because I was scared. Because I'd been hurt so much, and I don't want to tell people things. I don't tell people stuff. I keep my feelings in. I'm not a very sharing person when it comes to my emotions. So when he was saying all this stuff, my soul felt home, and I felt like this is it. So the next day, I packed up all my shit and I moved in with him, and things were magical for 2 months. I mean, wonderful. I mean, I had never in my life felt so loved, so special, so needed, so like appreciated. Never in my life felt so understood, so important. And then that leads to the porn thing. And like little stuff like that. That was stuff to me that verified that he felt the same way that I did. That we were meant for each other, and that meant we'll stop. But to me that meant everything. And so I guess he blames it on me. I wanted him to know everything, and I probably shared too much, but I wanted him to know everything. So I had a diary that I had been keeping for a few months, probably because I was struggling with my mental health. And I had been searching for my soulmate for a long time. I had my husband at the time, but we weren't in love, and we both knew it. I knew it. I don't know if he knew it. I don't know what he knew, honestly. After all the shit that I've heard since we split up, I don't even care. But I struggled with my mental health for a long time. It most definitely has gotten severely worse in the last couple of years. But I thought if I kept a journal and I could get the thoughts out of my head, because that's the thing, I fixate. So I was like, if I get them out in a productive way instead of holding them in and then letting them drive me crazy and then stressing out about stupid little stuff. If I get it out and I write it down and I keep it put up for me, then it's not stuck in my head. So I started keeping a journal. Well, we went and got some of my stuff because I'd left everything behind besides my dog and some of my clothes. Well, we went and got some of my stuff, and I had told him that I had a journal and that I had wrote some stuff in, and I told him that I wanted to be an open book, and I wanted that, I told him that I had struggled with my thoughts and that I had anxiety, or was pretty sure I had anxiety, and I told him that I get kind of obsessed about things, and I get worried about things that I shouldn't, and that I had been keeping a journal for a while, and that there was some stuff in there about him and about other stuff. And so he wanted to read it. And because I wanted to share everything with him, like absolutely 100% wanted to be an open book with him because that was my soulmate. I let him read it. And I had a friend who I was concerned. He was married, and we were friends, and we hung out, and platonic, like I was absolutely not interested, but I had mentioned in my journal that I was afraid that he was interested. And I don't know if he really was or not. That I'm stupid. Okay, I'm stupid. I've not been, like I said before, I'm not a socially attractive, acceptable girl. I've never really been what society thinks is attractive. I'm a little bit weird. I kind of do my own thing. I don't dress sexy. I dress how I want to dress. I fix my hair how I want to fix my hair. I do what I want to do. And I'm not sexy in society's typical standards. And honestly, I don't give a fuck. But I am who I am. And I do what I want. And so when people show remote interest in me, I don't know how to respond. So this friend who was married, and I liked his wife was nice, and she liked me and knew that I was not interested, but he had made some remarks about me and his wife and him having a threesome. So I had wrote in my journal that I was worried and concerned that, because we were going and hanging out with some other co-workers, I was concerned that when I was driving, I was the one taking us back and forth, and I was concerned that on these trips that he was gonna like act on it, and that made him mad. And then there was another coworker who I had referred to as Daddy in the thing, being funny, because I had called him Daddy at work, not like to his face, but because he acted like everybody's daddy. He was a manager, and he wasn't unattractive. I didn't really like him as a person because he had said some really shitty things about owning his wife, and that because he put a ring on her finger, that meant he could have sex with her whenever he wanted to, and blah blah this. So no, I might have said some things, but that was not interested, nor would I have ever been interested. Plus, he was old enough to be my daddy, which is part of the reason why. But he didn't find them to be funny. He didn't let me explain. He just assumed that I was a whore, like every other girl he had dated, and proceeded to treat me as such. I am over 30. I have been with my husband and him. I was with my husband for 12 years, from 14 to 26. And I've been with him since then. I've been with my current boyfriend since then. And I was with one other person. I've had 2 actual relationships. I mean, I went out, air quotes, I went out in high school and like junior high with people, but we never went anywhere. That's just what we called it when I was in school. I'm going out with so and so, but you never went out anywhere because you weren't allowed to. But I've only had 2 actual relationships my entire life. Both of which I was very much in love with the 2 people. you know, and so he blames the way our relationship is on me because I wanted to be honest with him and I wanted to let him in. Because my ex, I told him everything. Everything. No matter how wrong it was, I told him everything, and he never judged me. He never treated me any different. He never, like I said, when I said we were best friends, it was literally like I could tell him anything. I could literally tell him that I wanted to kill myself, and he would just tell me that he loved me and that everything would be okay. I could tell him that I was unhappy and I hated him, and he would still tell me that he loved me and everything would be okay. Now, yes, he did fuck around and message all kinds of girls inappropriately and had relationships with other people on the side. Yeah, he did do that. But the one thing he did do was he was nice to me and he was understanding. Do I miss that? No, because I don't miss him at all. I don't miss our weird relationship. I don't miss him. He was weird. Now that it's over, I don't, like, now looking back, I'm glad that it's gone and over with. Absolutely fucking glad. Plus, I've learned some information about him that makes me sick to my stomach. But, you know, so I thought, well, maybe I could be that. Maybe now that I've got my soulmate, maybe we can have that relationship and have the other part. We can be best friends. We can be everything. That's what I thought. We can be everything. I finally thought that I found my everything. And so he blames me for ruining our relationship because I wanted to be honest with him and open with him. But so that's when he says everything changed, but I don't think that's true. I don't. Anyway, things were okay. Then the porn thing, he would, like, I trusted him for a long time, you know. I did for a long time. Didn't everything that he said. I just blindly believed everything he said. I mean, when you talking about blindly and naive, I mean, you could look up the fucking definition and my big fat fucking head was right beside it. I mean, my fucking, right there, smack dab, blind and naive was my fucking head, because boy was I fucking blind and naive, because I believed every fucking thing this motherfucker said. Everything, man. But what gets me the most is that he would attack me. Like, we would be fine. Everything would be fine, and out of nowhere, you're watching fucking porn. I know you are, you fucking whore. You ain't nothing but a fucking whore, and all you do is fucking lie and hide things. And I'm just, you know, out of nowhere, just would attack me for watching porn. And I watched porn for the first time in our entire relationship about 3 months ago. I finally got pissed off because I knew that he had been watching porn. And, well, actually, I caught him I got it on his phone and took screenshots of it. So I had some free time while he was at work, so I come home and watch porn. Anyway, just because I'm just sick of it. But for the first time, the entire 5 years we've been together, I finally did. Okay. So, but he would just attack me. And I've said in other videos that things have been physical between us, and I don't remember when the physical part started. I remember him pushing me down to the ground is when it first started. First it was toward my dog, and I think that's when it started because he slung my dog, and when he slung my dog, I got in between it because don't hurt my baby. That's my baby. I don't think I can have children. So that's my baby. So I got, please don't do that again. Please, and then he pushed me. And then after that, it was all downhill from there. As far as physical goes. But he would just attack me out of nowhere, and I just thought maybe he was scared, and that's what he would, after he would realize that he had fucked up, and I would be crying because I would be so confused, and he would just talk to me so mean, and I loved him so much. And it hurts me. It hurts me to think about how much I loved him. And to think about how much I hate him now. It hurts because I don't know how you can love somebody so much. And it turned into such resentment. Because how can something so beautiful... I just don't understand. How something so beautiful could be so... I ask myself all the time, why? All I've ever wanted was to be loved. Really loved. Fuck all, I just want to be loved. Just purely loved, and somebody to be kind to me. Because I don't know how to be kind to myself, and I need somebody to be kind to me. I cut my finger open at work one day. I work with metal. I ain't told my boyfriend this, because he would fucking flip his shit, but I cut my thumb open pretty good with a piece of metal. And my boss took a Band-Aid and wrapped my thumb up. And I cried. I cried because he was so nice to me. He was so nice to me, and genuine kindness. I don't know how they handle it sometimes. And I just cried. I cried for about 15 minutes. Because I don't know how they handle people being nice to me. Because I don't know what it's like. And then whenever they are, I just assume that they want something or they did something wrong. So when people are just being nice, genuinely being nice, I don't know how to handle it because people aren't genuinely nice. And every time somebody is, I always feel like I owe them something because that's the way it was in my life. Nobody ever did anything for you without you having to owe them something. And the same thing with this relationship. If he ever does anything for me, I have to do something for him or he'll, I don't know. Anyway, I loved him. I loved him so much. He was the moon in my darkness. All the cheesy love phrases, he was that. He was. And I let him
I let him drag me through mud. I let him treat me like shit. And I just took it. I took it because I loved him, and I just thought that he was hurting. And one day he would love me, and he would realize that I loved him and that he would stop. I really, really thought that one day he would realize that I loved him and he would stop before it was too late. It's too late. He fucked up. And now it hurt. Now I don't even care. I care, but like now I feel like I'm building an arsenal of shit to leave. Like, I've got about 20 screenshots in my phone of shit he's been doing on Facebook, just so I can he wants to treat me like shit next time. Like these videos, like telling people I just want to say, I just want something, because I'm tired of being quiet. I'm so fucking sick and tired of being quiet about it, and he just gets to walk around like he does no wrong. I've even started telling people at work about it, and the next thing I'm gonna do is tell him that he beats me. Or he hasn't been as physical as he used to be, but that's usually because I just leave. He knows I'll leave now. Used to, I didn't have a choice. He wouldn't let me have a vehicle. Now that I have a vehicle, I'll just leave. If I didn't have a vehicle, the motherfucker would drag me to the fucking house by the hair on my head. And did I mention I weigh 350 pounds? I'm at 250 pounds, not 300, sorry. That's why things have calmed down, though. That's why he's not as physical. Because the last time he hurt me, I just took off and was gone for 9 hours. He pushed me up against a wall and hurt me, and I jumped in my car with my dog and took off and went to my grandmother's grave and stayed at my grandmother's grave until it got dark. It was about a year ago. That's why things haven't been as physical, because he knows now that I'll just leave. He can't hold me here anymore. And that's why he always asks me, why are you so quick to leave? Because I'm not going to let you hurt me. I'm not doing it anymore. You're not going to bruise me and beat me and drag me. You're not going to hurt me. I'm not going to let you do it anymore. Maybe I shouldn't call the police and get a restraining order. But I never know if he's going to take it too far. Never know how mad he really is. But he just, I keep getting sidetracked, but he just attacked me out of nowhere. And looking back, I know now why. I called him about 3 years ago. I called him. I was working 12 hours a day, covering for another shift, and I had gotten up early, and we worked on different shifts, and he had gotten home, and I had gotten up early, and so he come home mad, and come to find out he had been going to other people's houses too. That's another thing. And he had come home like mad, and he was going to stay up with me till I left because I had to leave at like
2:30 because I'd be there at 3. And that was usually the time he went to bed. Well, so he got mad, pissed off, and goes in there and goes to bed when I get up. And I'm, just like instantly just mad as soon as I get up. And I couldn't figure out why he was so mad, but he was mad. And being real mean. And I assume now because he had been going to people's houses and hanging out with them after work. And I found that out by tracking his GPS. I'm not tracking it, but looking through where where he had been typing in their addresses and stuff. And after he was getting off work, they would from his work to their house, and then he would from their house to our house. So that's how I found out about that. It was shortly after all this happened. This was right before COVID hit, too. So he comes home and he's just mean, and he's just like, I'm going to fucking bed. You're blah, blah, I don't even remember what he said, but anyway, he was just being mean and just attacking me as soon as I got out of the bed. And I hadn't had no sleep, because I had gotten off at 3, I had to go to try to need to be in bed before 7, to get up at 1, to get up enough time to be able to be in work at 3 a.m. And I got up at 1 o'clock, and he was just being cruel and mean. And so I'm getting up and I'm getting ready, and I get a text message telling me not to worry about coming in. And I'm like, oh, well, that's great. So I go in there, and he's in there watching porn and jerking off. And I flipped my shit. It hurt me. It hurt me. And then I knew then this whole time that he had been lying to me. That's when I started checking his stuff. That's when I found out that he was going to other people's houses. That's when I found out that all the money that he was losing, he wasn't losing, he was spending on weed. And I was struggling to pay the bills by myself because he was working 40 hours a week but never had any money. I found out that he was hanging out at people's houses after work. I found out that he had been watching porn all the fucking time, that he had just lied. Everything was just a lie. Everything, our whole relationship just felt like a lie. And then it was just constant after that. Every few months I would catch him. I won't do it no more. I promise I won't do it no more. I know it hurts you. And then I would catch him again. And then I convinced myself that I wasn't enough for him because his dick wouldn't get hard, and he could never, at one point in time, he was always complaining about us not having sex, but I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Who in the hell feels like, I was exhausted, and not only that, we were on different shifts. How am I supposed to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and be on different shifts? And when? Please explain to me when. And I understood why he was watching porn. I get it. I did. But why lie to me? Why treat me like shit for over a year about watching porn? Why were you attacking me? Why were you throwing me? He would shove me to the ground and push me, and I just out of nowhere would have fucking attack me, like scream and holler at me for watching porn, and I never understood why until I caught him.
And I mean, I hated myself. I hated myself because I blamed myself for everything. I blamed myself for everything. I thought everything was my fault. And then I spent so long. You know, I would starve myself trying to lose weight because I thought my weight was part of the problem. I would go through his ex's Facebooks and would realize how pretty they were, and he would always brag about one of his exes being a stripper, and that would always make me feel like shit. And when he had one ex that was thick, and goddamn, she's fucking beautiful, and he would say shit about her and about how they had sex all the time, and he made her squirt, and I never understood why he would say those things. And he made me hate myself. I wanted to die. And the bad thing is, I'd rather die than be without him. And that's what hurt so much, you know? Because I would rather die than be without him. But that's how he treats me. I wanted to kill myself. I would just beg God to kill me. Please just take me. I can't take anymore. I don't know how something so beautiful. How can something so beautiful and that's what fucks us up, isn't it? That's what fucks us up. Because we hang on to that fucking glimmer of hope. But one day it'll be there. No, it won't ever be there. Because it was never real. It was never fucking real. It was never fucking real. And I don't know what hurts most. But the thing that really fucked me up is we had friends. And I tried to genuinely be friends with them, but I always knew something wasn't right. You ever just know in your gut, you know, one of those things like, something's not right here. I know something's not right here. Something's not right. And they were younger than we were. And we always wanted to go over there and get drunk and hang out. And I liked to go over there because it was fun to get out of the house. And I didn't really have friends, because I lost all my friends when we got together. So his friends had to be my friends. I didn't have a choice. So I tried to make friends with him. And his friends were married. His friend has a wife. Beautiful, thick, socially sexy girl. Blonde, blue-eyed, big hips, big ass. Beautiful, dressed nice, very girly. Beautiful woman. Everything I'm not. The complete and utter opposite of me. Can have kids too. by the way. That's a problem with us too. But I knew something wasn't right. And so he bought a cell phone from his friend, but it had pictures and stuff of his friend's family on there. And he was like, I want you to delete them because I want them, just don't delete them. And I thought that was really weird. And he kept it, and he would hide the phone from me. And I couldn't understand why he hid the phone, but we were friends with him the whole time. And the weird thing is that wasn't even friends when we got together, because they had quit talking because he had been cheating on his wife. And so he stopped talking to him because he had been cheating on his wife. And he didn't think that was right, which probably should have been a red flag at the time. But I thought, well, maybe he's just a good guy and he thinks that it's wrong. Just wait till I tell you the story. Now that I think about it. But you know, he'd had the phone from me and stuff, but I'm assuming it's because he was watching porn, and so that's what I assumed, because he broke the phone before I could ever go through it, so there's no telling what all he was doing on it. But so during COVID, I don't even remember what happened, but anyway, some point in time I had found videos of her on his phone, where when we would go there and hang out, I remember when some of them were taken, he was in there, and like he always found a way to find himself around her, and that was one of the things that like I always found odd. And he always tried to force me on her, like always trying to force me to hang out with her, and I wanted to be friends with her, but it was like he tried extremely hard to force me on her. And I think the more he forced me to be her friend, the more and more I didn't want to be her friend, because I don't know, it's like my mind and my heart knew something wasn't up, but my gut and my mind knew something was wrong, but my heart was telling me to believe him, I guess, if that makes any sense. But I remember we were over there, and we had been drinking, and because that's all his friend did. That's all his friend did was drink, and he treated her like shit. And maybe that's what drew him to her. I don't know. Drew my boyfriend to her, because he thinks he's got to save people. He always finds a way to make himself be the hero, no matter how inappropriate or no matter how much it bothers me. He loves to be the hero, and it bothers me because, like, no, you're my boyfriend. Why are you always trying to save some other girl? Like, stop trying to save all these other women. They don't need you. I do. Anyway, I remember she was in there cooking, and he somehow managed to find his way in the kitchen, and then they were in there talking, and I was in there, in there. His friends was drunk and playing Call of Duty. And the weirdest thing is, it's like I wasn't allowed to talk to men. Like, I wasn't allowed to go to Walmart, and if a man talked to me, like one of the Walmart employee men said, "How are you doing? Hope you have a nice day," he would flip the fuck out. If I said "you too," if I responded, he would flip out. But like, he would literally, like, hey, play Call of Duty with Will, and then would jump up and run in the kitchen with her. And I could never really understand. I never really understood why. Like, he would say shit about me, like, "Oh, you want to fuck him?" But then would do, like, "Oh, just play Call of Duty with Will, and I'll be right back." Or, "It's your turn." Like, and I'm like, "I don't want to play." No, he's like, "It's your fucking turn." You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, okay. you know, and I could never really, like, at the time, it didn't dawn on me, but then, like, there toward the end, before I found out about the videos, I started picking it up. My brain started telling me that something was up. Like, something's up. He is way too interested in her. I don't know what's going on, but, and I'd actually said something to him about, I'm like, you only go over there to see her. Let's just be real. You're not going over there to hang out with Will, because you're never hanging out with Will. You're always with her. Which I think that turned into a physical fight. Which is probably my fault, but after finding the videos, I guess wasn't untrue. But he had been in there acting like he was looking up recipes, and I remember seeing him doing it. But he was taking videos of her cooking and moving around the kitchen, and he had like 3 or 4 of them. And then he had other videos of her on other occasions, and I found them a couple months later, and it fucking, like, I can handle the porn and him looking up actresses, and because we all get curious, and porn, I mean, whatever, you want to look up that shit. I mean, yeah, did it hurt me? Absolutely. Does it still hurt me? Absolutely. It still hurts. It still absolutely fucking hurts, because we made a promise, you know, and that promise meant something to me. Whether it did to him or not, it absolutely meant something to me. And so every time he breaks that promise, it's like a little bitty dagger in my heart, and it chips away, you know. And but the videos of her doing just things, and it hurt me. It was the nail on the coffin. It was the, I don't know what you want to call it, the whatever that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? I sat here and was drunk for like 2 days. I just spent 2 days just drunk, crying, and I wanted to die. Because and I blame myself. That's the fucked up thing. I blame myself for all of it. I blame myself because I you know, that's what I'm talking about. I'll never be these girls. I'll never. Why am I not enough? That's what I've been asking. I would beg him, please tell me why I'm not enough. If I'm not what you want, please just leave me alone. Quit using me. Because I would rather be dead than be without you. And you're just using me. You're using me. You're sucking me dry. Now I hate men. I can't even look at men without being sick to my stomach. No offense, men. If anybody watches this, no offense. It's not you. It's me. I don't think I'll ever trust anybody again. Not really. But after those videos, and it fucking, and then I worked with her father, her stepdad, and he told me that she had been cheating on her husband. And do you know exactly where my mind went? I never did ask. I didn't want to know. And I don't know if they ever did or not. Honestly, I don't think she would. Surely to God not. I feel like she's got more fucking sense than that. Because I liked her. I mean, I really did. I liked her as a person. She wasn't a bad person. I don't really think she would do that. But, and then again, to this day, I don't know. Because after I told him that we would never talk to them again because I couldn't ever go back over there, I would never be able to look at them the same because of him. And it wasn't them, it's him. Because they had beautiful children, and their children adored me, and I adored their children. Their little boy loved it. We would read books together, and I would play Barbies with their little girl, and I'd play Call of Duty with his friend, and me and her would help cook supper and stuff, and we would go grocery shopping together. I mean, it wasn't. But I couldn't. There would be no way I would ever be able to go back over there. And that's what I told him. I said, we can't. Well, I'm done. If we're going to be together, that's over. I can't. No, it's not an ultimatum. This is, if we're going to be together, I can't go back over there because I will never be able to look. I will never be able to feel safe over there again. And then he would still message her and stuff. So I had to make him block and delete her. And that was hurtful too. That he would do that, even after everything. And then I called him over there smoking weed with him one time. The husband was there too. But it just, like, why continue to hurt me? And I just I've never understood how somebody could just literally give no shits about somebody else. But and during COVID, he was working at a job, and he was working with this girl. And all they ever did was talk shit about this girl. He talked so much shit about this girl. And he would come home smelling like pussy and shit. And I would say shit to him. And come and find out he was buying weed. And then, so I convinced myself that he was smoking weed. But, plus, his teeth are not the best. So and I'm not trying to talk bad about him because at the end of the day, I do still love him. But, he worked there for about 2 months. But, you have to forgive my dog. He's insane. He's a puppy. So he just does whatever he wants to do. But during COVID, I was out of work for like 2 months. But I gained like 40 pounds. That's sad to say, but I literally just spent the whole time being depressed because this was shortly after the videos. It was actually no, the videos were after COVID because I had found out about him going to the people's houses and buying weed and about the porn and stuff right before COVID. Because I remember that, yeah. It was the day that we were told that they were cutting back our hours was the day I got sent home early. Because that was the day that I found out that he had been, because I had asked him if he had anything he needed to tell me. And he lied to me, and then I asked him about buying weed, and he had lied to me. And I sent him the pictures and the screenshots, and so it was afterwards. But so then he got laid off. He was working for a temp agency, and he got laid off at that job at the temp agency, and they found him another job. And at this new job during COVID, while I was laid off, he just was like angrily obsessed over this girl. Like all he ever did was talk about shit about her, like, oh, blah, this fucking bitch, blah blah blah, And it made me
I was depressed because I had just found out that he'd been hanging out at somebody else's house. And was depressed that he had been lying to me for months about the money and that I had been killing myself. And was struggling to pay the bills and was stressed out because I didn't know what I was going to do about the COVID situation. At that time, everybody was scared. I didn't have any money, was broke, and he'd been lying to me for months about his money. So I was just like in this extreme depression, and now he's talking about this girl, he's obsessed with her, it's all he talked about. And then he was coming home smelling like pussy, his breath was and shit, you know what I mean? Or to me it was, it could have been, I don't know. And so I gained a lot of weight, and I've actually just now finally lost the weight. I've actually lost 30 pounds. I started this new job, and I feel like I've got my mental health. My doctor, I finally went and seen her after years of desperately needing help. I finally have got some, and my medicine kind of makes me a little bit too honest, unfortunately. But it's kind of nice to not be so quiet anymore. And that's like I said, like these videos, since I've started the medicine, I've been telling people things. Like my new coworker, I like her. She's easy to talk to. I had one coworker that she told me that she would adopt me if she could, and I told her a lot. And I think that's when it really started, because up until then I had one little friend that I had said, a little bit to, not a whole lot, just I think me and him got into it pretty bad one night, and I come in and was real sad, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, just bored." And she's like, "Em, come on, tell me." And I kind of explained to her, and she was like, "That's fucked up." And then when my mother, she's no longer with us, unfortunately, but she was the one who introduced me to narcissism and trauma bonding, and I had never heard of it before. I talked to her about it, and I talked to her a lot. I was having problems with my mother, and with him, and him not having a job, and then he was having medical problems, but she become somebody I could talk to, and I told her a lot, and she told me that I broke her heart, and that if she could save me, she would, and that she wished that she could adopt me, and that if she had ever had a daughter, that she wished that she could have been half the person that I was, and that I'd been through so much, and that I was still a wonderful person, and that for everything that I've been through, for me to still be the sweet person that I was a miracle. And I miss her. But I think talking to her allowed me to be honest with myself and to be honest with people around me, because I'd hid a lot for a long time. I think I'd only told one other person, which was my stepdad, about the shit that I'd been through. I think I told my stepdad one time that he had hit me because I had to call him at 2 o'clock in the morning to come pick me up in the middle of town. I had walked 3 miles in the rain when it was 20 degrees outside with 2 dogs, and I think I had a jacket and flip-flops on, and it was raining,
And I had 2 dogs with me. And I had called him and woke him up and begged him to come get me. Because at the time I didn't have a vehicle. Because like I said, I wasn't allowed to have a vehicle for a long time. But I told him because that's what happened. It was after Christmas. We had went to a Christmas party at my cousin's house, and I was exhausted. I get overstimulated when there's a lot of people, and I was tired, and we had ate, and we were on the ride home, and I was just kind of like, I was overstimulated and was wore out. So I was real quiet, and was, he would ask me stuff, and I would talk to him. And then he was like, "Why the fuck aren't you talking to me?" But was being real mean, and then started driving erratically. That's one thing that he does because he knows that it triggers me real bad. He loves it. Oh God, does he love? I can't even ride with him without having, I have to double up my medicine if I'm gonna have to go anywhere with him because he scares me. We had a real bad fight one time because we were trying to rent a house, and the house that I was hoping we would get had gotten rented out, so we didn't get to get it, and I was kind of disappointed. And because I was upset, because I was disappointed and upset, he lost his shit. I mean, come unglued, and it turned into a fight where he ended up. And he swears up and down that he didn't do it on purpose, but if he hadn't have been driving the way he was, it wouldn't have happened. But it was raining and cold. And we were driving up the driveway, and he was flying. He was probably doing about 60 miles an hour up the driveway. It was a long driveway. And we get to the house. Well, it was a trailer, but we get up to the trailer, and he slams on his brakes. Well, eventually you run out of the driveway and it's yard, and he slides right into the trailer and hits the hitch part where they drag the trailers and dents up the bumper of the car. And so ever since then, I've been, and then there was another time that we had been. He's a big boy. He can handle his liquor. He had I think 1 beer, and I'm a light drinker. I didn't get drunk until we had got together. I drank, but only on Halloween or Christmas, and I never gotten drunk. So I was a light drinker, and especially if I don't eat. If I don't eat nothing, it literally takes I can drink 2 beers and I'm half gone. I'm fucked. I'm 2 beers and I'm good to go. So we had stopped and got a big screwdriver, and I had drunk all mine, and he was waiting. We had gotten 2 actually. I had drunk most of mine, and he was waiting until we got to our friend's house. And because for some reason he wanted me to be drunk. I don't know what it was, but he really liked me to be drunk when we went over there. I blacked out a few times too, and now that I think about it, that's kind of weird. But anyway, probably because he was doing drugs with him. I bet that's why, now that I think about it. But he got mad about something. I don't remember what it was. Something stupid, I'm sure. It's always something stupid. And started, erratically driving on this gravel dirt road. And was slinging all over the place. And he had fucked up brakes anyway. So this car made me nervous to begin with. Just slinging, doing 70 miles an hour on a tiny backwoods fucking dirt fucking road, acting like a fucking moron. And I was hitting him and begging him to stop, crying and screaming, "Please stop, please, just please stop," just screaming, for my life, "Please stop." And he was just acting the fuck. And ever since that day, he if he gets mad, he will literally, if we are in the vehicle together, he will literally fucking act a fucking fool.
I've been driving a few times, and he will literally jerk the steering wheel and jerk us off the fucking road. So riding with him is very stressful. I'm always extremely scared of what's gonna happen riding with him. Like, he's always like, you wanna ride to the store with me? No, absolutely fucking not. I don't even want to go a mile down the road in the vehicle with him. That's sad to say, isn't it? I don't know why I'm here. Because I tell myself I love him. But anyway, back to my friend. But she was the one who told me about narcissism and love bombing, and so I started doing research. She was like, you need to look into it, and she's like, you really do. And she said you need to get out of there before it gets physical, because she said one day it will, and little does she know it already has. Because I don't want to tell people that. I don't. I do. I want to tell everybody. I want to fucking tell everybody. I want to tell everybody. But I started looking into it, and I haven't been able to stop watching videos and stuff over it since. And I watched a video the other day about how they mirror you at the beginning, and I got triggered. Like, just watching it like triggered me. Like, I got extremely overwhelmed, and extremely, like, I felt like, I sometimes wonder if I have PTSD. I don't know if is that offensive to say? I don't know. My psychiatrist hasn't said what he thinks is wrong with me. I know I've been prescribed a medicine for mood stabilizer. And it also helps with my binge eating, because when I am down, guess who stuffs their face? Me, I do. So he prescribed me something to help my mood, which helps if I take it like I'm supposed to. 2 different types of anxiety medicine. One is anxiety and OCD, and then one of them is anxiety and nerves. Because I told him that I get to the point to where I feel like I just have to go. I said I will be fine, and then I feel like I have to, that fight or flight, and I have to go. I don't know where I'm going. I said, but I have to go, and I will get up, and I will have to go away. And I think that I get scared extremely easily. Men touch me, and it makes my skin crawl. Men scare me. Men get angry. I work in a male-dominated factory. The men in there are not very nice. So it's a very triggering place. And I actually spoke up to that to my boss not so long ago. I told him that, I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, being with my boyfriend the last 5 years, that working in this environment is triggering for me. It really is. I said, these men are mean, and they trigger me, and I don't like it. I don't.
I don't like working with men who just blow off the fucking handle over nothing. They fucking flip out, and yeah, it's stressful. And just but so the mirroring that they mirror you in the beginning, and I said that I felt like I'd met my soulmate, and that he was just saying all the right things, and I was quite like it was so weird. Like, at the time, I was obsessed with In This Moment, and I had like this huge girl crush on Maria Brink, and he was like, just out of nowhere, was like, I got a song for you to listen to, Blood by In This Moment, and I think it makes me think of you. And I was like hardcore turned on by it. And and it was just little stuff like that before we ever, before it was ever a thing. And then, and then, like I said, like the not watching porn thing, because I was all he would ever need again. I was all he would ever need. It was stuff like that, and then, reading that, and it triggered me. It hurt. It fucking hurt. And my anxiety fucking flew through the window, and I just felt overwhelmed, and was like, that fucking, that fucking hurts. That hurts. That fucking hurts. Because looking back, is that all it was? Because now, was it, that's what I was saying, was any of it ever real? And I don't know if it was. I don't know if anything's real. When he's nice to me now, I don't believe any of it. I don't know anything anymore. I don't like, and then watching the gaslighting thing, it makes it, and like narcissists gaslight you to the point to where you question your own reality, and it's like the not knowing. I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. I don't fucking know. And then there was another video I watched yesterday, I believe, talking about like your a lot of times you like your childhood, can be a lot of the reason why you end up in the relationships you end up in. And it was saying something about, if you find a relationship and it feels like home, that should be a red flag for you if you come from an abusive or a fucked up childhood. And whenever she said that, I was like, fuck. Because when he hugged me, I felt home. When she said that, I remember the exact moment that he hugged me, the platonic, I just wanted to hug you because this was probably the last time I was going to see you. Because our shifts don't overlap, he didn't come into 5 and I left at 3, I didn't think I was ever going to see him again. I was in love with him, and I didn't think I was ever going to see him again. So I wanted a hug, I wanted to touch him. And I felt home. And when she fucking said that, I knew exactly what she meant. That fucking feeling of being at home and what's familiar. The fucking chaos. And the fucked up thing about it is that night, that nut. I went home and I told you that I cried for hours. I bawled my eyes out for hours because I longed for him. I longed for him, but I also knew. Something in me knew that he was going to destroy me. I remember telling, I haven't said this, but I left my husband for him. I didn't cheat. Well, I did for 3 days. But I had been open and honest with my husband. I had told him that I thought I had feelings for him, and he knew. And like I said, I was very much stayed very clear of that up until the day we hugged. And we had worked together for 5 months. Up until the day we hugged, I had stayed as far. Like I said, we were not even friends on Facebook until the day we hugged. But I went home and I told my husband that I knew that I was in love with him and that I was not going to be able to resist him, and that I was done with him. That we had to stop. That I was going to pursue it, and that even if it destroyed me, because I knew that it was going to destroy me. And ain't that a fucking shame? I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew that it was going to destroy me. And then when I watched that video and she said that we go after things that feel familiar and things that feel like home. And if it feels that way, stop. That it's a red flag. That we shouldn't long for those things. And it brought me back to that day. That day that the hug and everything felt whole and like home. And everything felt normal and right in the world. Of course it did. Because it was going to be pure fucking chaos and heartbreak. And that's all I'd ever known. Of course it did. Parents fighting, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Nothing but screaming and arguing. It felt like home, alright. And now I'm just reliving the life that I swore I would never have. And I don't know how to get out of it. Because I tell myself I love him. I have to convince myself every day that I love him. It's a shame that something so beautiful turned into something so resentful and so angry, so broken. I know nobody's gonna watch these, and I don't expect anybody to. And I'm not looking for sympathy, and I'm not looking for anything other than to just talk. And I think I'm trying to
I'm trying to convince myself of something. I don't know what it is. And I think saying this stuff on a video that I don't think anybody will see privately. Well, it's not private because anybody can see it, but anonymously. Yeah, there we go. At least kind of, sort of. Will help me through something. Or help me through it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anymore. He hates that too. We get in fights and he'll ask me stuff and I'm like, I don't know. And that's the truth. My brain, when we fight, I can't think straight. I couldn't if I wanted to. And I don't know how you could ever expect me to be able to think when you're screaming at me. Same way as a child. And then I watch videos and it's like the silent treatment's immature, and I'm like, is that what I'm doing? I convince myself that I'm the narcissist, that I'm the problem. Isn't it funny how we do that? We know deep down that we're not the problem, but then we convince ourselves that we are so we can try to fix things. Because if we're the problem, at least we can try, right? But if they're the problem, we can't make them change. Because at the end of the day, no matter how hard we try, the only thing that can make them change is them. And that's the truth. And that's what I swore that one day he would realize that I loved him and that he would change. And that it would change things. He would know that I loved him and that I wasn't his other girlfriends. He never had a long-lasting relationship, and I guess we'd even gotten into a fight one time, and I told him that I know why he never had a long relationship. Because if you treat your girlfriends remotely how you've treated me, no wonder nobody else is just as stupid as I am. Nobody's loved you as much as I do. It's like I told my coworker the other day, because we got into it the other night, and went to work upset. Oh no, we got into it. It was yesterday. It was yesterday morning. We got into it yesterday morning, or Thursday morning, whatever morning. It was the other morning. We got into it before I went to work, and he was being mean. So I went to work in my feelings, and I told her, I said, if after everything you've put me through, every cruel and mean thing you've done to me, every time you've betrayed my trust, every time you've lied and hid things from me and gotten caught and swore on my life you wouldn't do it again and proceeded to do it again, if after all those times and all this time and everything you've done to me, if me not being here, not still being here, if the fact that I'm still here is not enough to show you that I love you, then I don't know whatever will be enough for you. And the truth is that nothing will ever be enough for him. Nothing will ever be enough for him. He is going to suck me dry. He already has, to be honest with you. I feel like I have nothing left to give anyone, not even myself. And that's why I think I've started focusing on myself again for the first time in 5 years of our relationship. I've started, like, he wouldn't let me cut my hair. I used to have to wear it long, and I used to have to keep my hair short. My parents made me keep my hair short as a child because they didn't want to take care of it. So I refused to cut my hair when I got older. And then about 24, I decided to chop it all off, and I never looked back. But he hated that I had short hair, and reminded me every time I wanted to cut it, and would make me feel like I was a disgusting lesbian. Like, that's what he would, you know what I mean? Only fucking lesbians have short hair, and that's gross. And you know what I mean? Would make me feel like I was scum of the earth for wanting to cut my hair at a A-line, little short, cute bob that I love. And made me feel cute and made me feel good about myself because I have curly hair. And I fucking love my hair like that. Love it. Plus, I'm a little emo kid at heart, and it makes me... I love it. And it makes me happy. And so, finally, last year, I said, fuck you, I'm cutting my hair. And I also, after years of him saying that me dyeing my hair any color but black was not, gross. Even though he's obsessed with redheads, he loves redheads. He wouldn't let me dye my hair red. And I finally thought that if I dyed my hair red, he would love me more. That didn't work. I thought if I dropped 50 pounds, he would love me. That didn't work. I thought if I gained 50 pounds, he would love me. That didn't work. I thought if I kept my hair long, he would love me more. That didn't work. I thought if I got more tattoos, he would love me. That didn't work. I thought if I wore more modest clothes, that would work. He didn't love me. If I wore sexier clothes, that would work. That didn't work. I thought if I wore less makeup, he would love me more. That didn't work. I thought if I wore more makeup, that would work. That didn't work. I have tried everything. I thought if I stopped being a vegetarian, he would love me more. That didn't work. I thought that if I started being vegetarian again, because he would bring up, I know you not being vegetarian makes you unhappy, and you blame me, and blah, blah, this, and blah, blah, that, and, would make me feel like shit because I wasn't I thought that if I did what he wanted me to do, that would work. You know what I mean? That, I feel like I am a dog in the fucking American Kennel Club show, jumping through hoops, and I'm just determined to make my owner love me, and that's what I feel like. I feel like a fucking... And I decided that I'm done. I dyed my hair back black. I had it red for a long time because I thought if I had a red head, he would think I was sexier and would love me more. And that wasn't enough for him. I bought tanning lotion because apparently he was turned on that I was a little bit more dark complected than most. So I bought the sunless tanner because cancer runs in my family and I'm terrified to go sit outside. So I bought sunless tanner, and I thought if I made my skin a little bit more tanner, he would love me. That didn't work. And I finally just decided, fuck that. Fuck him. Fuck him. I need to love me. And that's all that matters. I chopped all my hair off, and I continue to chop it off, and I'm gonna continue to keep it chopped off because that's the way I fucking like it. And I don't care. I'm actually gonna trim it today and dye it again. I've been working out, and I do it whether he likes it or not because I want to work out. Fuck him. I absolutely, I am not gonna feel bad. I try to buy groceries and stuff that's good for us, and he talks to me like a fucking dog because all he wants to eat is hamburgers or hamburger meat, and I want to buy, I try to buy turkey meat, and I try to buy chicken, and I try to buy fish and vegetables, and oh my god, I'm so sick and tired of eating that. And can you ever fucking buy anything I like? And I'm like, well, you have heart problems, maybe you should consider, and I'm a piece of shit for trying to help him live longer. And But I have to sacrifice me for him. But he can't sacrifice anything for me. So, but then when I do buy, I bought $500 worth of groceries, and it's mostly shit that he eats that I don't even want to eat. All he's done is complain about it. And I can never win with him. And so I told him the other day that I'm like, from now on, you buy your own fucking groceries. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. I will buy what I want to eat, and you buy what you want to eat. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of hearing about it. I'm not. You want to eat what you want to eat, go right ahead, because I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done, and no matter what I do, it's not good enough for you. And then, like, after I said that, he comes out of nowhere and is like, I'm sorry for complaining. And, you know, it's like there's a good person in there, but he only comes out when he knows he's really fucked up. And that's what fucks us up, though, right? That's what fucks us up, is because they hurt us, and then that good person comes out. And then it fucks us up because we know that the good person's in there, and we're good people, you know. We're not great people. We're not perfect, but we're good people, and we care, and we try, and we give a shit, and we give chances after chance after chance after chance, because we know they're in there. My friend, well, he says, she's not your fucking friend. You don't have any fucking friends. That's always nice to be reminded how alone you are. But I self-sabotage too, because I'll say shit about her even though I genuinely like her. I have to keep myself from getting attached to her. So I have to make shit up in my head as to why I don't like her, because if I get attached to her and he says shit about her, or he gets on her Facebook and jerks off to her fucking pictures, which hurt my feelings, because I caught him doing that too. That was great. That was fucking great. She's a beautiful girl, beautiful, sweet girl. But she told me the other day, she said, he's draining you. She said, he's draining you, and I can see it, and you know it. And that's like, I feel going to work, that's the only place I feel safe. And I hate work. He used to say, I don't understand why you like going to work so much, but you hate being there. It's the only place. It's like I told my boss we had this crazy girl come in there and get people fired. Like, I don't even know. I didn't even want to go down that fucking rabbit hole. What kind of crazy shit that was. She come in there and got people fired and stirred up a bunch of shit, and I don't even know what kind of shit that was about. But anyway, we were all scared that all our jobs were in jeopardy because she was out to get everybody. Thank God she finally quit, but she had an act for that. When I was training her, she told me about how she would go and get people fired, that she liked. That was her thing. She enjoyed getting people fired. People were so fucked up. But I told my boss, I said, this is mine. I mean, it's all I have. I mean, my boyfriend's ruined my relationship between me and my dog. I'm scared to have anything to do with him. And he's sitting on the couch with me now, but like, my dog, I've had my dog since he was 5 weeks old. And he's 8 years old now. And I love him. I mean, he was my baby. My boyfriend was so jealous of him. So jealous. And my boyfriend and I we had been fighting, and my dog, My dog could sense it. I don't think my dog ever really liked him. I think he tolerated him, but I don't think he ever really liked him. I think my dog could sense it. But we had been fighting, and he'd been hollering at me and stuff, and then I went and sat in the laundry room and just cried and held my dog. Well, the next day, we were okay. We had made up. We were okay, and my boyfriend was chasing me. Well, I think my dog thought he was trying to hurt me, and my dog went after him. So he punched my dog in the face, and I know you've got to discipline. That's like corporal punishment for kids. You don't beat your kids. You don't. It's one thing to whip them. It's another to beat the fuck out of them. I've spanked my dog, but I don't beat them. I probably do more so now. It's fucked up to say, but I think reactive abuse is a thing where you flip out because you've took so much shit where you flip your shit too. But I did get overwhelmed. I don't beat my dog, but he punched him in the face, and it hurt me that he would do that. And I get that he went after him, but he was trying to protect me. And I don't know about you, but a dog protecting its human is normal, right? He had never been aggressive toward him. He wasn't aggressive toward him afterwards. He was. I guess I would be too if he punched me in the face. But, like, he wouldn't, But after that, he was extremely mean to my dog. He would, if my dog got on the couch, he would push him off the couch. He wouldn't let him in the room. And then, like, we moved out and moved into the house we live in now. And my dog slept with me. My dog had slept with me his entire life. And then we got a cat because, we got a cat before we moved in here, but my boyfriend wanted a cat. He wanted his own animal. And I'm like, yeah, sure. We can get us a kitten. And I remember we got into it real bad one day. And this is another reason why I don't have anything to do with my dog. The cat was like 4 months old. And we were fighting, and he had me. At the time we didn't have any furniture, but we had like an ottoman and a little chair. And my boyfriend was in the chair, and I was on the ottoman, and the cat was loose, and my dog was in the bedroom because at that time I'd started putting my dog up. Or I don't know if my dog was up or just not over there because my boyfriend would scream. And my dog's pretty good. He's a good dog. He's not a bad dog. I mean, you can let him outside and he goes and pees. He's not much of a, you know what I mean? He's a good dog. He is a good dog. He really is. You can't tell my boyfriend that, but he is. I mean, he's a dog. He fucks up and he gets in the trash from time to time, and he's a male dog and he pees on stuff occasionally. I never did get him fixed because he was never, I didn't have any other dogs, and he was by himself, and I didn't take him around female dogs, and he didn't roam the neighborhood, and I kept him on a leash, and, I took care of him. I didn't see the point in getting him neutered. So I did not get him neutered. And so whenever he got around another male, they were territorial, and he started hiking his leg on stuff. And that was when I moved in with him. Up until then, he had used puppy pads and went outside to pee. He had never been much of a urinate all over everything. He was a good dog. And I think being in a toxic environment was bothering him too. But he was mean to him. He would kick him and shove him, and he was jealous. I wasn't allowed to have anything to do with him. If we were on the couch watching TV and it was a boyfriend's time, it was my boyfriend's time and his time only. And if my dog got up there and sat beside me, he would get mad and like, all you ever do is love on your dog. You don't ever pay attention to me. And I would literally be holding him and my dog would be sitting beside me, and I'm not even touching him. My dog is just sitting beside me on the couch. And he would just fucking come unglued. So it but then we got our pit bull from his friend who passed away. His friend, I think his friend knew that he was sick and was fixing to die. Because about 2 weeks after we got her, he passed away. I think he knew that he was dying. He had heart problems. And had been sick the whole time that I'd known him. And had been sick for a really long time. But he called us one night and told us to come get her because he couldn't handle her anymore. He actually had a wiener dog, pit mix, which was adorable. And then he had 2 big black and white pit bulls, females that were sisters, and he called us and told us to come get one of them because he couldn't handle both of them. He gave us the wilder of the 2. She's a sweetheart. But then it become all about his dog. I wasn't allowed to pet her. I wasn't allowed to have anything to do with her. I wasn't allowed to, like, if she loved me. She would literally climb on top of me and sleep. But he would get mad and jealous. I'm good with dogs. I love dogs. Dogs are great, And I kind of thank my dog, and I thank God for my dog, because back several years ago, I had went through before I got my dog, I wanted to die. I weighed almost 400 pounds. And was literally eating myself to death. And I got my dog, and I had my niece, and between my niece and my dog, I realized that I was worth love and worth being alive, and that I meant something to somebody because my niece loved me. My niece was my best friend. She worshipped the fucking ground I walked on. And my dog fucking was obsessed with me. I was his human, And I felt love for the first time. Well, I say the first time, but then I said my boyfriend, but that's a different kind of love, But when I got with my boyfriend, I couldn't see my niece anymore. I've only seen her like 4 or 5 times since me and him been together. And now she's like 9 years old and all grown up. But anyway, so we had the cat, we had my dog, we had a cat, and the pit bull. Well, the cat and the pit bull were allowed in the room, but my dog was forced to go into the living room. So he had to sleep in the living room by himself because we only had enough room for his dog and his cat, which hurt my feelings, but it was his way, or his way. And then it got to the point to where he was tired of cleaning up after his pit bull because he wouldn't take her out, he wouldn't walk her, and she was peeing and pooping in the floor. She'd been cooped up in a cage her whole life, so she wasn't like very well housebroke. She's a lot better now, even though she was fully grown. I think she was like 3 or 4 when we got her. But he wouldn't, he didn't take care of her very well. He just wanted her because he wanted a dog. He wanted somebody to love him, is what he said. He would always, he had to have a cat because he wanted somebody to love him. He wanted something that loved him as much as my dog loved me. You know what I mean? He always wanted to rub it in my face. Well, so then he got to the point where he was sick and tired of the pit bull and cleaning up her shit. So then he forced her into our extra bedroom. So she lived in there for a long time. by herself. While my dog, the cat got booted out when the cat was attacking our feet while we were asleep. He got tired of that. Cat got booted out. Dog, then she got booted out. Then it was just me and him. And then my dog and the cat stayed in the living room. His dog stayed in another bedroom. And then, so we got into it one night, and I had to come in here and was laying on the ottoman crying. I was just crying. I don't even remember what we were fighting about, but I was crying, bawling my eyes out. He had probably lied to me about something, or fucking treated me like, or hit me. Who fucking knows at this point? But, and he come in here and was begging me to forgive him. So he probably hit me. And the cat was loving on me. And, well, no, there's no way he was begging me to forgive him, because what happened next would not have happened if he was in a forgiving mode. Well, no, yeah, it would have, because he's a cruel person. But the cat was loving on me, and I petted the cat and was just crying. So he grabs the cat and slings the cat up against the wall. And he's a big dude. And that was pretty, that hurt, you know? That was fucked up. That was our baby together. But he was mad. He had been mad at me since his fish died. I bought him a fish. I forgot about that too. I bought him a fish, and we had when we tried to move in here, we had to wait a couple days for electricity to get cut on, and I thought the fish would be okay, so he blamed me for the fish dying. But I didn't know. But he slung the kitten, it wasn't but a couple months old. He slung the kitten up against the wall as hard as he could. As hard as he could. And there was nothing I could do. He was bleeding from his nose and his butt. There was nothing I could do to save him. After that, I didn't have anything to do with my dog. That's when I stopped. Because I couldn't. I would never be able to forgive myself if that was my baby. The cat was his baby, and it hurt because I loved it. Because to me, it was our baby. There was nothing I could do to save it. But my dog saved me. It was all I had. The only thing left in this world that I have. And after he killed that cat, which I don't know if he killed it or not, he took it to the park and dropped it off. So I don't know whatever happened to it. He couldn't live with it. He couldn't watch it die, so he took it and dropped it off somewhere. And I couldn't. I just laid here and cried. I just laid here and cried. But I couldn't risk it. I couldn't risk that being my dog. I couldn't risk him being next. I couldn't risk the other one being next. So I distanced myself. And it hurts me.
It hurts me to have to be mean to him. Not mean to him, but I have to just tell him to go lay down somewhere else because I can't love on him, because if I do it puts his life in danger. Whenever he's not here, I can. When he's not here, we snuggle and love and enjoy what we can. But I'm scared of him. And now we've got a new puppy. And he smacks him in the mouth. He's punched him. And I've spoke up and I've said things, and all it does is gets me screamed and hollered at, and then I just shut down. I just shut down. I don't know what to do. I don't even know if I should be telling anybody this. What am I supposed to do? It's his dog. He says he's not hurting him. He's teaching him a lesson. Like, you don't have to hit him in the face. You don't have to beat him like that. He's like, well, a pat on the ass ain't gonna do it. And I'm like, yeah, and you don't have to punch him in the fucking face either. And then when I talk about having him neutered to calm him down a little bit, because he's a little wild. He is, I'm not even going to lie, he's a little bit wild. Then he throws up in my face that my dog's not neutered. And then he throws up in my face about how I don't have nothing to do with my dog and I need to mind my own fucking business. And then I say shit to him all the time, just being mean. So sometimes I think I'm the narcissist. I convince myself that I'm the problem. I sometimes pray that he's cheating on me, and I pray that I find out just so I have an excuse to leave. Or I pray that he finds somebody else. I think that sometimes I really believe he's had other people. Just nobody else is stupid, they catch on. I'm starting to think that's why he's had such a disdain for some of the girls that he talks so much shit about, is because he tried and they fucking turned him down, or he tried and got it and then they were like, oh, fuck you, you're fucking crazy. Because why else do you have so much hatred for somebody you don't know? For no reason. I don't know. Things are just so fucked sometimes. And I tell myself that I love him. How the fuck can you love somebody? I love the person I thought that was there. That's the problem. I love the person I thought he was. And I hate the person I know he is. I hate him. And I resent him as a whole because he lied. He's nothing but a fucking liar. And the thing is I feel sorry for him. And that fucks things up. And it makes things hard too. Because I do feel sorry for him. Because he's had a fucked up life. God, has he had a fucked up life. And I partially think that's why he is the way he is. And that's what fucking sucks you in. Because I feel for him. That's why I need something. I need someone to take him.
I've thought about making a Facebook just to get him to cheat on me. I've thought about hiring somebody. Just to because I know he would. And if he wouldn't, it's only because he literally can do whatever he wants to and come home and have it made, because he can literally quit his job and I will pay all the bills like a fucking moron. And the bad thing about it is he's going to ruin me to where I'll never be good for anybody else. I'll never be able to trust anybody else. I look at other men, and I used to not look at other men. Now I'll see a man that I find attractive, and then I'll think, oh, what kind of horrible person is he? You know? I'll think, oh, well, he's really nice, though. And I'm like, no, he's hiding something. All men are hiding something. Because of this relationship, my last, I think I just now have accepted that I just want to make myself believe that there are no good men, so that way I will never be in this situation again. If I just stay by myself and just, like, if I ever leave this relationship, I literally want to be alone. I don't want to be hurt anymore. I don't want to be hurt anymore. If anybody comes across this, just know that I'm okay. And that if you're dealing with something similar or you feel alone, it's okay. It's not okay, but it is at the same time. And then you're not alone. If you watch this, thank you for listening. And if I can, I'll continue to make videos when I feel like I need to vent. They probably won't be this long. Hopefully they won't be this long. I don't even know how long this video is. I feel like I've been sitting here trying to play a video game for the longest. And I've just been talking. I wish I could just record at any time my brain starts wandering, but I can't. So, but thank you.